Good, really good work day today. We had the officials out here, a full crew, which is good for us. I asked them to call it really tight, and they did. I think if there's some encouraging things, and then there's certainly things that we have to work on. The encouraging things were that through 144 competitive plays, there was only one penalty that you would it was like during the snap, a technique oriented where we didn't move our feet, or a holding, or an OPI or a DPI or something like that. The thing that we've got to get better at, and it was primarily the young guys, and it's something we have to push through, was the pre-snap, the non-aggressive penalties. We had too many false starts. We were offsides once on a 3rd and 10, where we stopped them. It makes it 3rd and 5. They convert. The drive keeps going defensively. We had one illegal substitution on defense. So those are things that are going to hold a team back unless you address them. And so we are, and that's why we're bringing the officials out here. Once again, the first group is clean for the most part. They play clean, but those young guys have to be able to process the information that's called at the line of scrimmage with regard to the play or the defense that we're calling. They've got to be able to process the snap count. They've got to be able to handle movement opposite them, and then they've got to be able to react without jumping off sides, because those are the penalties that knock you off schedule. On offense, it makes it. We had 2 where we were 4th and 1, and we were trying to draw the defense off sides, and instead we jumped on the offensive front. So we got to get those things cleaned up, and we will. Part of the deal is having the officials out here. So we'll have them a couple more times before we play Nevada, and I think it's been really good for us. I thought that was probably, from my perspective, that was the best practice we've had from a physical standpoint. All the things that we got done, the focus, the energy, the situations. It's practice number 11 or 12. It's a time when typically you might see a little bit of a lull, and I didn't see a lull. So I like that, and what we've got to do is keep driving. And so that being said, if that was 11, the lull can't come at 12. We just got to keep pushing on, and I think that as a staff, we do that, and I think our players accept it. So, we got a long ways to go still, a ton of work to do, but we're doing the things we have to do to become a better football team. Now, to me, it's just locking in on eliminating those mistakes that, because we know hurt us last year.
Should the younger guys be better at this point?
No. It's overwhelming a little bit right now. Like you get a guy like Caleb in there who's running with the ones, and he's going against Lee and Cassius, and there's so much going on in his mind that you're going to have those things. I think the thing that's important is you don't accept them. You never walk off the field going, well, that's going to happen. You can't let them feel that. You got to put the pressure on them and say, it's not acceptable. We're counting on you, and that's what we did. But I understand it at this point. As we move forward, you become much less tolerant of those things, much less.
Do different guys push through that at different rates?
I think so, sure. I think it has a lot to do with football IQ. I think it has a lot to do with their experience. I think it has a lot to do with the physical condition that they're in. I think it has a lot to do with experience, a lot to do with their familiarity with our scheme, But if you're talking primarily about younger guys, yeah, I think it's just, maybe background, where they came from, how quick they can learn what we're trying to do and process the information.
You talked last year about your philosophy on penalties and how much they affect the game. Has that philosophy changed at all, given where you guys finished last year? Or
my philosophy, you can't just clump all penalties into the same category. They're different. So I evaluate them differently, and if they're but our emphasis has to be right now on eliminating all those things, because I don't want us to find ourselves in a situation where we've got a pretty talented football team physically, but we have to match that mentally and emotionally when the pressure's on by being able to react the right way and not hurt ourselves with false starts in key areas. So, to me, the only way you get through that is you continue to drill them in those areas. You continue to put it 4th and 1, we're going for it, hard count, try to get them to jump and work through it, And so, like I said, you come out here to learn, and that's what we're trying to do, is learn.
Jim, that's about Lacey and Quisenberry, their progress.
They're doing fine. Yeah, they're freshmen, and they're doing fine. I haven't really watched them. I think, Scott, we're asking Scott to play a little guard and a little center, and so, that doubles the burden for him, but he's a smart kid, and he works hard, and I like them both. I think they're both going to be really good players. I think all our offensive linemen that are young guys are going to be good players. Right now, Lopez and Redmond aren't out here. Powasi should be back, if not tonight, probably tomorrow. He feels real good, so But I like all those guys.
Where would you compare the end of last season with Brett to right now as far as his development, his improvement?
Much more confident, has a better feel for the offense. I think just the fact that he could take the off season and process everything that happened to him last year, watch all the film, and really evaluate himself rather than watch it and then get ready for the next game, which you have to do during the season. I think that's really helped him. Looks like he's a better decision maker. I'm still trying to get him to slide without, getting his cleats stuck in the ground like he almost did again today. So, but I think he's really coming along well, and he's got a lot of room for improvement as well.
You had a little third base coaching out there.
Yeah, I tried to tell. Well, I just want,
slide.
Yeah, he needs to get his feet up. He needs to get his feet up when he slides, so he doesn't catch his. What happened last year when he caught his foot and he sprained his ankle.
He never played baseball, did he?
It doesn't look like it to me. And if he did, if he got on first base, then they put a pinch runner in for him.
Is this
So.
this kind of a statement though how good he is? Is that it's these little things are the
Yeah.
things that concern you?
Yeah, I think it's a great sign as to the development that he's made and the potential we see. And it is, but it's all those little things that make a difference in winning and losing at a high level, And so we have to continually focus on those. But I see him making better decisions. I see him throwing the ball away quicker, which sometimes that's a good play for us. We don't need to take sacks, and so it's just progress. But we gotta keep the throttle down. We gotta keep that probably makes sense. We gotta keep the pedal down. We gotta keep going. We have to keep going. We have to keep the pressure on these kids.
Fabian's looking pretty more comfortable on that corner position.
Yeah, Fabian's going to be a good corner. What you like about Fabian is he can really drop his hips and change direction. He's got burst. He inside joke. He's got long arms, and so as he just learns to be more patient at the line of scrimmage, works on his footwork in transition, he'll be better and better. He's got good ball skills. He can catch the ball. He can find it quickly in the air. You see corners that get themselves in position, but they can't find the ball quickly in the air. And Fabian can do that, so I think he's got a bright future there.
Other than burst, how would you describe his speed?
He can accelerate. He's got noticeable change in momentum at the moment of recognition. That's our definition of burst.
Coach, what about the running back spot? I mean, how would you assess it right now? And where does Jordan James and also freshman Craig Lee, where do they kind of stand in the mix right now?
The running back spot right now is, in my opinion, there's 5 guys that we can count on to go in there and play. Craig's not in that group yet, but that doesn't mean he can't get into that group. He's a freshman. He missed the off-season work or the summer work with us, but I like him. I think he's athletic and he's picking the system up quickly. But guys like Jordan James and Stephen Manfro and Malcolm Jones and Paul Perkins, Figgy, when he gets back, they're just ahead of him right now.
What's the difference between a freshman that participated in spring ball, like Kylie Fitz did, and the freshmen that are just coming in and this is really their first exposure?
15 practices at our tempo against the bigger guys that they're facing. In high school, you take a guy like Kylie, and I would say that it was very seldom that he faced a 320-pound offensive tackle that was really skilled. Mm-hmm. And yet every day he comes out and he does it. So he got 15 practices of doing that a guy like, let's just say Kenny Clark, for instance, didn't. So he's just that much further along. He understands the energy, the focus, the effort it's going to take to compete at this level. And you see it. But right now is the time, in my opinion, that all the freshmen should start to make a jump. They should be starting to make a jump right now because they've got a number of practices under their belt. And I do see them making a jump. I've been very impressed with our freshman class. I think the skill guys, I don't know how much time a guy like Darren Andrews is going to see in games, if he is in at all, or Jalen or Eldridge, but you see those guys making progress, and you can tell that they've got a lot of ability.
How is Thigpen?
He's doing good. And talking to our athletic trainers, I hate to put a timetable on things because if he exceeds it, then why'd you hold him back? If he doesn't reach it, then what happened? But he should be ready at some point earlier in the season than the midway point. And if he's not, that's okay. At that position, I've said this a number of times. It's just so important that he have the confidence that he can put his foot in the ground, plant, and change direction without a wobble. Because there's 11 guys trying to hit him every play. you know. So I want to make sure he can move.
Did he
that's
get
gotta-
set back a little? The other day on kickoff return, it looked like he got a little tweaked.
No, he's fine. We haven't had to hold him back at all. The thing you have to do with Damien is you have to hold him back a little bit. We haven't had to, because of anything physical. It's just we've had to kind of say, okay, wait, that's enough. There's a gradual progression to getting back on the football field, and between Coach Alosi and Anthony Venuti, our athletic trainer, they work together to get him where he needs to be. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, you, because I didn't want to. If you were going to ask a follow up, I don't want.
No, I was moving on to someone else.
Okay, go ahead.
Vander does the daily update on him.
Should be back out there today. Went through individual today. Feels
how
good.
close is he to team
Probably tonight.
tonight?
Yeah, I can't promise that, but I think I want to see how he reacted to this morning. But I think he should go to this afternoon.
Sure.
Kendricks is really close, really close. I said this yesterday, I believe, when we were talking. Probably the plan for him would be on Monday when we're back in Westwood to get him back out there doing some team stuff and slowly integrate him in. That gives him 2 weeks of practice before Nevada, so he should be good to go. If there's a silver lining in him not practicing, it's the fact that guys like Isaac are getting a lot of work. Cameron Judge is getting a lot of work. Hoff, not that he needs a lot of work, but he's getting more work. So some of those young guys are getting extra reps.
Is Brandon Cross has moved
What's
to
that?
Brandon Cross has moved to wide receiver? Is that correct?
Who?
Brandon Cross.
No, he's playing both.
Okay.
A guy like him, he could have real value because he could play some special teams. He could be your holder. You only can travel with 70, which is actually a lot. He could be a crossover guy, an emergency quarterback. So we're trying to move him around a little bit. He's an athletic guy. He's pretty tough. So you guys know that's Randy's son, right? Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Figured you did.
So he doesn't play offensive line.
No, I don't want him there yet. Looks like he plays some defensive back. He's a good athlete. It's good to have him here. He's got a great attitude. So. Okay.
Thanks,
All
guys.
right, 6 o'clock, right?
Yeah.